Yo, we are back. Welcome to McCoy Van Noy, presented by Toyota, official automotive partner of the NFL. I am one half of your gracious host, none other than Gerald McCoy, the 93rd wonder of the world, big chest from the Midwest, the one that never fails. I only thrive. Why? Because I'm from the south side of the 405. Now, at this point, usually I would pass it to my gracious co-host and brother, Kyle Van Noy, but he has to get ready for Thursday night football. He has to get ready to continue the dominance of the Baltimore Ravens. Oh, but don't fret. Do not fret, family. It's next man up. And we got a special treat from you, from Yahoo Sports himself, from the 301 podcast, Mr. Charles McDonald. I am McCoy, he is McDonald, and we are here. What is up, Chuck?
I'm doing good, man. I'm excited to be here. As not to age you, but as someone who grew up watching you play football, this is kind of a cool moment.
It's all good, man. Hey, listen, we all family around here. Hey, I grew up watching a lot of people that I ended up either playing against or playing with. I remember when Darrelle Revis walked in my locker room with the Buccaneers, I was like, oh, shoot, that's Darrelle Revis. That's Revis Island over there. You know, you see a lot of people that you either grow up watching or grow up that you end up playing with or playing against. So, hey, man, it's an honor to have you here. It's an honor to be here. But let's get into some football, man. Let's get into some football. So Sunday, my brother, Kyle Van Noy, and his team, the Baltimore Ravens, dominated the Denver Broncos, man. Lamar Jackson, another perfect passer rating. This guy continues to shatter the mold. Not break the mold, shatter the mold. I seen a clip of him at the Combine, and it was him fielding all these questions about switching positions. And he said something funny. He was like, dang, I thought I did pretty good at the quarterback position. Well, Lamar, you didn't just do pretty good. You've done great. I mean, they dominated. He was all over the place, making plays with his feet, making plays with his arm. Zay Flowers did his thing. And, of course, the other mutant in the backfield, King Henry, he broke 1,000 yards, scored his 100th career touchdown. This dude is dominated in high school, college, and now the NFL. I'm going to keep saying it. I'm going to keep saying it. The Baltimore Ravens are the team to beat in the AFC. They are looking scary right now. We're going to get into this Kansas City in the AFC. But right now, the Baltimore Ravens are dominating, and they look dominant on Sunday. Chuck, how'd you feel about the game?
It was a little surprising, I think, because only because Denver's defense through the first 8 games, I mean, they have been one of the best defenses in the league so far. So this felt like you were going into, big offense versus big defense, a real war, and gut it out. And that was over by like halftime or third quarter. Yeah. It felt like. And it just goes to show, like, this Ravens offense and Lamar Jackson, they are quite literally having one of the best seasons in NFL history. And it's weirdly has to be happening at the same time as like what the Lions are doing in Detroit. So you kind of have like these two superpower offenses competing head to head across the league. But what the Ravens are doing is just so cool, man, because it's like a video game, where you have this one guy, Lamar Jackson, and the rest of the offense is doing well, and obviously Derrick Henry's a stud too. But you have this one guy who has like all his physical attributes maxed out, and now the mental side's catching up. He's crazy accurate with the football now. He's on like a career low for sack percentage, interception percentage. So you're still getting all like the big Lamar Jackson plays without the negative plays. And now, dude, Derrick Henry's got to be the happiest guy on earth, because this has to be the easiest time he's had running the ball in a long time.
For sure.
Because Lamar takes up so much attention from the defense. He's already got 1,000 yards and might have another 2,000 yard season in the same year. Lamar Jackson might go 4,500 passing yards, 1,000 rushing yards. I mean, this is really something else. I think we should just appreciate that this is literally a moment in NFL history that we're witnessing every week.
Yeah, for sure. And it's crazy you mentioned a video game. If I have to compare it to anything, you're a big Marvel guy, obviously. And I'm sure you played Spider-Man. They had Spider-Man, and then they had Spider-Man Miles Morales, but then they had Spider-Man 2. I coined this to be a Spider-Man 2 Because in the original Spider-Man, you had to build up his abilities, get all his powers and max them out or whatever. And then you go to Spider-Man Miles Morales. Now he has to get all his abilities and max out his powers. Now you partner them together. And now you just playing the game with two maxed out players, a Spider-Man and Peter Parker and Spider-Man Miles Morales. And that is freaking who Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry is. And they are dominating right now. And like you said, let's just take a step back and just appreciate greatness. Let's just appreciate what we see. Let's not be too critical about it. Let's not look too far to the future. Let's not look into the past. Let's look into right now. And what the Baltimore Ravens are doing right now is freaking incredible. We used to call the St. Louis Rams the greatest show on turf. Well, this is one of those. This is one of those historic offenses that will be remembered for a lot of reasons, because there's a lot of surrounding it. People question, okay, Lamar last year, what did he do in the AFC Championship? Can he shake back? Lamar came into this season. He said he had lost weight to make himself faster, more mobile. All the questions about him being able to pass outside the numbers, to make throws from the pocket, he's answering all those questions. Now, you take it to Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry, who trains in Dallas, might live in Dallas, said, hey, I'm sitting here, Dallas Cowboys, come get me. They didn't want to do it. Fast forward, now he's a Baltimore Raven, and look at what's happening. So there's a lot surrounding this team that's going on right now. And they acquired Deontay Johnson, right? Yeah, I said that, right? Yep. Yeah, they acquired Deontay Johnson. So that's going to add to it. My boy Killer, he started off at a hot pace. Now everybody else is picking up. The defense is starting to play more like the defense should play. So partner that offense with this defense, and I'm excited to see what they can do. But for right now, like you said, let's just sit back and enjoy the show, because that's exactly what they put on Sunday.
Yeah, to go back to your Spider-Man 2 analogy, it's like when Derrick Henry got the Ravens gear, that was his symbiote.
That was a symbiote,
baby. That was
symbiote
to get to the next level.
Yeah.
Dude, it's funny because I've seen some people like ask, is Derrick Henry a Hall of Famer? Like, dude, yes, absolutely.
What are we talking about?
Absolutely.
It's people with less accolades that's in the Hall of Fame at running back. Like, yes, he is.
To still be this effective, at this point in his career, because every week you see the graphics of not just the carries with the Titans, but the carries at Alabama, the carries in high school. And you're like, holy crap, like a guy with this workload still being one of the fastest players in the field, one of the strongest players in the field. You can still go to him when you're like, all right, we're up 2 scores in the second half. There's no one else you'd rather have on this team right now than Derrick Henry, and he's still getting it done. I think it's just really cool that, not only just Derrick Henry, but you're seeing it with Saquon and Josh Jacobs, some of these running backs who have been stuck on some teams that are trying to get it together. They get to go play with good quarterbacks, good offense, good schemes. You kind of get to see the value that they still have. I think it's really good for the game.
Yeah, for sure. This is the year of escape. Guys are getting away. I seen a graphic. They said the Tennessee Titans threw these 3 guys to the curb for all the rest of us to enjoy it. A.J. Brown, Derrick Henry, and now DeAndre Hopkins. And it's like, Tennessee, what the heck were y'all thinking? What are y'all doing? It's insane. But yeah, man, like when you think about Derrick Henry and his longevity, it's incredible. And, for people to wonder if he's a Hall of Famer, I always look at it like this. Being in the Hall of Fame is a one-on-one experience. It's freaking incredible, and it's something you can never take from anybody. If you get in, incredible. But as a kid, growing up, we do everything in our power to be the best we can be at every level, whether it is little league, middle school, high school, college, NFL. If they bring your name up and ask the question, is he a Hall of Famer? You made it. Get in the conversation. If you're in the conversation, man, like being in the Hall of Fame, it's a freaking incredible, and it's dang near impossible to do. But the people who get in, more power to them, and they deserve all the applause and all the love and all the credit for the things they've done and the work ethic and how incredible they were at this sport. But if people have to bring your name up and they say, is he, and they say Hall of Fame next to it, freaking incredible. So I agree with you. I think Derrick Henry is a Hall of Famer, but the fact that his name is being brought up, great for him, man. But speaking of Hall of Famers, there was a team who played last night who's got a bunch of them on there. And the Kansas City Chiefs, they got Hall of Fame coaches. They got Hall of Fame players. But they took my Bucs out. Dang it. We gonna get into it. Let's take a quick commercial break to hear from our sponsors who keep our chains moving. We'll be right back, and we're going to get into this Kansas City Bucs game. See you in just a second. Be right back. Peace. We are back. Unfortunately, we are back, and we got to talk Monday Night Football. My Tampa Bay Buccaneers went into the champ's house, Kansas City Chiefs. They tried to go in their trap and take over their trap. It did not work. They got so close, so freaking close. But the champs did champ things. Kyle always get on here and say he's a two-time champion. And he always get on here and say the champions and the great teams always find a way to win. In Kansas City, although this is not the most explosive team we've seen, although this is not the most dominant team we've seen, this team is finding a way to win. They are 8-0, won a hard-fought, rough, tough game. The weather was horrible, was nasty. People getting banged up all over the place. We seen Mecole Hardman go out early and he came back. Patrick Mahomes had a scare when he rolled his ankle. You know, he was dealing with his ankle from the Raiders game, but he had a scare and he kept fighting through. The Bucs was missing a lot of guys. It was just one of those like November gritty Monday Night Football games, but the champs came out on top, man. And the most impressive thing to me was Patrick Mahomes having 11 completions on third down. They had 12 conversions on third down, 12 of 18. He had 11 completions, I think 128 yards and 3 touchdowns. That's insane, man. When you got a guy like that on your team and he's being coached by a coach like Andy Reid and he's throwing to a player like Travis Kelce who had 14 catches last night, and then on the other side of the ball you got Chris Jones over there, it's like, man, what do we do with this team? They were at home, found a way to win, and they deserve all the credit. My Bucs fought hard. They fought hard, man. You go into a hostile environment. You don't have your 2 top offensive weapons. Other people had to step up. Sterling Shepard, my brother from Oklahoma, not just the school, but the state, he stepped up big time last night, especially on that last drive. I believe he had 4 catches on that last drive to get them into the end zone. Baker's just, the thing I love about Baker is he bets on himself. And we continue to see it over and over, why he was able to walk on and become a starter at Texas Tech, why he was able to transfer to Oklahoma and be a walk-on and win the Heisman and be the first overall pick, is because he has so much fight. He's got one of the biggest hearts you'll ever be around. He never quits. He fights until the clock is all zeros. And he was just on the sideline in that overtime, man, just wishing he could get the ball. He was just, you could see it in his eye. Like, even when the coin toss, he lost the coin toss, you seen him. Like, he was so angry because he knew they had the momentum. But it was a hard-fought game. I'm going to let you give your thoughts, and I'm going to talk a little bit about that last drive, what I think should have happened. Go ahead.
Well, as a Falcons fan, shout out to the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah, whatever. Oh, my gosh, man. Yeah. Go ahead.
It's been a tough 7 years, no playoff appearances. That was a good win for the Chiefs last night. But what I think what the Chiefs are doing this year is kind of remarkable, where I still kind of feel like they're the best team in the league. I don't know. I know Baltimore is blowing people away, but I think we just kind of look at everything they've done, and I'm probably still being privileged at the moment too much with back-to-back Super Bowls. I still trust this team so much. And even when you get down to last night's game, when it felt like it was, or not actually felt like it was slipping away from them, but the score was kind of slipping away from them early on. The Bucs got a few nice drives, and then they do this thing where they just 5 yards at a time. There's no explosive plays really. They're just nickel and diming down the field. And next thing you know, they're in the red zone and they have a chance to score. And it's interesting because this is a different style of offense than what people, grew to love about the Chiefs, where you have Tyreek Hill, you have Sammy Watkins, we're throwing 50 yards to play. It's like the coolest thing you've ever seen Madden brought back to life on, the real football field. Yeah. But now they're just playing, if you can get 5 yards every play, It's not sexy. It's not fun, but it's still a good way to move the ball. And that's what they're doing here right now. So I still think, even when you remove some of the weather aspects, I think their offense is going to be a little bit better because DeAndre Hopkins looks like a real difference maker for that team. But I will say, I was a little concerned about the Chiefs defense last night because they've been one of the better units in the league. And I thought that, Baker and Cade Otton and Liam Cohen, the offensive coordinator, they had a great game yesterday. Some tough situations last night. So maybe that's something to watch moving forward for the Chiefs defense. But overall, man, this team's 8-0, and we talk about them sometimes like the world's fallen,
Yeah. And I think we just got spoiled. It's like LeBron James, man.
Right.
It's like we get spoiled so much with greatness that when things are not over the top great, it's like, oh man, he might be, I don't know. They're 8-0. They're not one of those Pittsburgh Steelers in 2020 8-0s either. Or when the Patriots in 2019 were 8-0, where it was like, if the defense gives up anything over 17 points, this team ain't gonna win. No. This is a true 8-0 team. You saying that they're the best team in football is not a reach. It's not a stretch. They are the champs. And until somebody beat them, they are still the champs. The last game they lost was, last November? Like, you know what I'm saying? Last December, baby? Oh, yeah, they lost to the Raiders on Christmas.
That's right.
Last December is the last game they lost. Like, the last team to beat the Kansas City Chiefs were freaking Las Vegas Raiders. And on Christmas of last year. So to say they're the best team in football is not a reach. The defense, I'm not concerned about because Spags, he's great at adjusting. And right now, Spags, I believe, is the best in the game right now. I know we're seeing other defenses play well, drawing up the blitzes, drawing up these coverages, and playing great defense. But Spags, the proof is in the pudding. When the rubber needs to meet the road, Spags always figures it out. Chris Jones, if you look at his numbers, by the numbers alone, you'll say, oh, he's having a down season. But that's why you got to watch the game and watch football. Last night, the dude was dominant. Dominance as a defensive lineman doesn't mean you always make the play. There's two forms of dominant. Vita Vea was dominant last night. I think Vita at a point had 8 tackles. Vita might have ended up, I'm going to look it up right now.
Man,
Vita
he's doing some superhero stuff this year versus the run.
Yeah, Vita might have ended up with maybe 10 or so tackles. Let's see.
Which is crazy.
Vita Vea had 10 tackles, 2 sacks, 2 TFLs, and 3 QB hits. That's dominant. But you know what else is dominant? Not being able to be blocked. Chris Jones put Baker Mayfield in a lot of situations he did not want to be in. He sped up the operation, and that's what they have on that side. George Karlaftis, he balled last night. He was all over the place. And you see Reed, Baker almost threw a pick. Reed just dropped the pick. So they would have had a takeaway early in the game. So I'm not overly concerned about this defense because they just find a way. The champs find a way, man. And they're going to get guys back. They got Checo's coming back. But right now, Kareem Hunt is doing what he's supposed to do. And this is only the beginning of Patrick Mahomes and DeAndre Hopkins' connection. My son told me last night it's a poor man's Tom Brady and Randy Moss. And I thought that was hilarious because you take a wide receiver who's been dominant regardless of who his quarterbacks have been, and then you put him with a Hall of Fame quarterback and you see what can happen. They still not on the same page. We could see last night Patrick Mahomes when he threw that pass on the might have been a third down. Was it a third down? It was a second or a third down. You could see him. He signaled to the sideline, run that same thing, run it again. He signaled to DeAndre Hopkins, and as soon as he caught it, he threw it. He expected DeAndre Hopkins to turn around, be ready for the ball, but D-Hop was a little late with turning around. The ball was behind him, but those are things that will be fit. He's been there 2 weeks. He played like that last night, and he's been there 2 weeks. Imagine what they'll be by the end of the season. And that's why you saying them being the best team in football is not a reach, because look at what they're doing right now, and he just got there. This team is scary. They have a favorable schedule moving forward, and they're the hunted. They're the hunted, man. And last night, what I want to talk about real quick before we move forward, is that last drive. Offense for the Buccaneers kind of gets stagnant, and then Baker Mayfield goes out there and Baker Mayfield's. He's clutch. He drives down the field, and they score. Okay, the controversial thing is, should they have went for 2? I personally feel like they should have, because you don't give momentum back to a team like Kansas City. You put them in the worst possible situations. You never want to make it favorable for the Kansas City Chiefs. You don't even want to take an opportunity. That's like taking a chance. If you walk into a boxing ring, right? Got a couple options, okay? You can either stand there and let Mike Tyson take 2 punches at you, or y'all can just go jump him right now. Like, that's what they did. When you give Patrick Mahomes a chance, it's like, hey, if you give him a chance, he probably gonna knock you out. Now, I'm just saying, he probably gonna knock you out. And that's what they did. The Bucs, in my opinion, should have went for 2. The weather wasn't great. Forget the weather. You just drove down the field. You have momentum. Go for it. So what's the worst that can happen? You lose anyway? You ended up losing. Why? You don't play the game to not lose. You play the game to win. So I think the Bucs should have went for 2. I didn't really like that. The safe thing to do is to kick the extra point, but this is the Kansas City Chiefs in their house. A lot of people didn't even expect the game to go this way, but we're here now. Go for the win. I feel like the Bucs should have went for the win, because exactly what everybody predicted. Patrick Mahomes got the ball. Bing, 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 bing. Touchdown, walk off, let's go to the crib. And Kansas City Chiefs, they're gonna be a tough out. They are going to be a tough out, man, because it's Travis Kelce getting back to his form. I know he had the bad fumble, but then he got right back to it. That's what champions do. They don't blink. So this team, man, this freaking Kansas City Chiefs team, they're gonna be a tough out. I'm excited for 2 weeks from now when they play Buffalo. That is going to be a great game. That's a great game to watch. We already got to see them and the Ravens, but them in Buffalo, I'm excited to see it.
Yeah, those are the 3 guys that we all love watching each week. Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, and the fact that they're all competing with each other in the AFC for these rings and these championships. I think it's really compelling. So Josh has got the Bills moving in the right direction, and what we thought was going to be like a retooling year for them, because they had to shed some vets this offseason, and they're right back to being the team that they were last year. So I think that we're setting up for a really fun close of the season, especially with these guys going head to head.
Yeah, and I don't know if it's a big pool of who could be who in the AFC. We did a question on NFL Network. Is this the year the Buffalo Bills take out the Kansas City Chiefs? And I'm like, wait, hold up. Pump your brakes, because I know the Texans don't look like the Texans right now. CJ Stroud is having kind of a sophomore slump, but the O-line is not good at all. They're getting the man killed, okay? He's been hiding the fact of how bad they've been, but now it's starting to show with Diggs being out. Nico Collins is supposed to come back, but with them 2 being out, you see the offensive line being banged up. It showed. I mean, the Jets looked like, they look like molded. They've been looking like molded bread. They just looked horrible. They lost to the freaking Patriots, who just lost to the Titans. And then they go in and do what they did to the Texans. So the Texans are not looking like the Texans that we predicted, but they beat Buffalo. Okay? Kansas City is Kansas City. Baltimore is Baltimore. They've already lost to Baltimore. So they've lost to Baltimore. They've lost to the Texans. But we don't need to sleep on Pittsburgh. We don't need to sleep on Pittsburgh, because if Russell Wilson can play like he's been playing and continue to improve, I understand they beat the Jets. I understand they beat the Giants. But they got a tough test coming up with the Commanders. If they can beat the Commanders, then we can say, hey, Pittsburgh, they're in this thing. So I'm excited to see, these teams coming down to end the season, what can happen with this AFC race.
Yeah, it's I think even Pittsburgh is one of the more fascinating teams in the entire league, like not just the AFC, because I was kind of scratching my head a little bit when they made the move to switch from Fields to Russell Wilson. And it's not like Fields was
Me
like,
too.
Yeah, it's not like he was like super tearing it up, but I didn't think he had played poorly enough to get the yank. But hey, that was that's been proven to be a good move so far.
That's what make Mike Tomlin. Right.
Because I was looking, I was like, I don't know if this makes sense. If it was Russell from like 4 years ago, yeah, but the Russell now kind of looks like the Russell that we had gotten used to before things had gotten south in Denver. So, like you're looking at the AFC North, that's going to be just a crazy battle at the end because Cincinnati, they're always liable to do the thing where, hey, we still got one of the most talented offenses in the league. We can scrape together some wins at the end of the season, but at 3-5, that's a little tough. So I'm interested to see what happens with these Steelers-Ravens games over the back half of the season. Obviously, the Bills and the Chiefs, they have a big game. And the Ravens just in general, if they're going to kind of achieve what they want to do, they probably need to get the number 1 seed again, which is currently still in the hands of the Kansas City Chiefs. So this is going to be a fun back and forth over the next 6, 7, 8 weeks, and hopefully one of these AFC teams, for their own sake, can puncture Kansas City and put a loss in their column for playoff seeding purposes.
Yeah, that's the and that's the AFC side of it. The second half of the season is going to be very interesting and exciting because if you look at the NFC, I mean, Detroit Lions look unstoppable, man.
Yeah.
And breaking news, they just traded for Zadarius Smith. Okay, so you lose Aiden Hutchinson, you bring in a guy who's doing his rounds in the NFC North. He was with the Green Bay Packers, and he went to the Vikings. Now he's back with the Detroit Lions. They addressed the need. They went into Green Bay, where if you think about going into Green Bay, Minnesota went in there and put up a lot of points. Okay, but Green Bay fought back. They've been really good at home. Jared Goff hasn't been incredible in November and December, especially outside. Inside he plays well, but outside he struggles, especially in bad weather. I think I seen he was about 500, but he had got sacked over 80 plus times, and he had thrown like 33 interceptions in November and December when he plays outside. But they went into Green Bay and got a big win and looked just as dominant as they've been dominating, man. Leading up to Sunday's game, the freaking Detroit Lions was averaging 43 points a game since week 4. That is incredible to see. Jared Goff, I mean, best in the league against the blitz, best in play action. They're running the lights out of the football. And now you add Zadarius Smith to address a need in the pass rush. On that side, the Detroit Lions are looking really unstoppable, but we got surprises everywhere. I mean, I'm not going to lie to you. Atlanta leading the NFC South, it's a surprise to me. I'm just being honest. Everything looks good on paper, but you've seen the inconsistencies early and the ups and downs, but now y'all starting to hit y'all stride. Us, the Bucs, we have injuries. We done lost 3 of the last 4, and we're not looking the same, and we're struggling, missing guys like Mike Evans and Chris Godwin. That's tough. We had early injuries on defense early in the season, so our season's been up and down, but y'all are hitting y'all stride. Y'all just beat the Dallas Cowboys, and y'all are a team, y'all are a player. But you go out to the AFC West. Now, I before picked the San Francisco 49ers to win the division because it's like, if you look at all the other teams, before the season, you have to pick somebody. So I think all of us would agree that picking the 49ers is a safe bet to win the AFC West. But I said before the season, and I have receipts, that my sleeper NFC team was the Arizona Cardinals. And lo and behold, the Arizona Cardinals are at the top of the AFC West, man. And that is very close in those standings. But the NFC North is probably going to come down to Detroit and Green Bay. But Detroit has a commandable lead. But that freaking Arizona Cardinals and those Atlanta Falcons, don't sleep on them. Do not sleep on them.
Oh man, I see. I think Falcons fans are more apprehensive about this team than people on the outside because it hurts so bad. There's been so many. They haven't made it to the playoffs in 7 years. 23 was 8 years ago. It's just been kind of floundering around since then. But this is the most functional the offense has looked since, probably like 2019, 2020, around that time, before Matt Ryan left for the Colts. And the defense is still shaky, but I mean, that's nothing new. That's what they've been basically the whole time I've been watching them. So I'm more optimistic that they could win a playoff game than maybe I was, 3 or 4 weeks ago, because Kirk's playing well. The running game
good for one.
Yeah,
he get you one.
I just want one. I just want one, man. It's been so long. I just want one, or at least a close game. I'll take a close loss at this point.
Yeah.
Just get me off of because the Falcons are dangerously close to, you ever see those graphics where it's like most professional sports franchises with the longest playoff droughts, dangerously close to that. So Kirk, you gotta spare some shame on this part. But even when you start looking at the Falcons and the Cardinals, it just feels like there's such a big gulf between them and where the Lions are right now. The Lions, to me, they feel like the clear-cut best team in the NFC. They've got the highest point differential in the league by far. The only team with a point differential over 100. Like you said, they've been scoring what feels like 100 points every week for the past month. And I think what's been cool to see about the Lions' growth this year is not just, obviously the offense is just on a different planet. In terms of just overall collection of talent, probably be tough to find another group that's as good as that. But the defense has really turned it around this year, even with Aiden Hutchinson going out, who was a key player for them. They've still kind of stood tall and been able to weather the storm. They play more man coverage than anyone in the league, with a rookie cornerback starting. Ali McNeil has turned into one of the best defensive tackles in the league. Jack Campbell's turned around in his second year. I mean, this defense deserves a lot of praise for what they've done this year. It's not easy, even with Jordan Love hurt. It's not easy to just go on the road and hold the Packers to 14 points. They still have a bunch of good players. So I think the totality of their team, especially, and with the 49ers dropping off and some the rest of the NFC not being as strong, the Lions, you got to feel good about where you are right now. And that's why the Darius Smith trade makes so much sense. It's not just we're replacing Aiden Hutchinson for the season. It's we can actually win a Super Bowl if we play our cards right. So let's go for it. I really love the move for them.
Yeah, for sure. And, I don't want to leave out, obviously, the Commanders, who are another surprise. Yep. I mean, nobody expected the Commanders to be as good as they are. Jane Daniels, you're the second overall pick. The franchise expects you to be that guy. But all of us, I think we had a little leniency with being a rookie quarterback and figuring things out. He said, forget all that. I want to win MVP. And he's playing like he wants to win MVP. He's playing like at the end of the year, y'all have to bring my name up. Excuse me, when y'all talk about MVPs, and they playing incredible, man. Dan Quinn, he's going to be right there in the mix for Coach of the Year at the end of the year. And I don't want to leave out the Philadelphia Eagles. They're starting to figure it out. Philadelphia Eagles got stagnant last year because of the offense. Once people figured out you could stop this run, then you force Jalen Hurts to beat you from the pocket. Well, they figured that out because you can't stop the run because you got a guy back there who's not from this planet. I don't know where the heck Saquon is from, but it ain't from here. Krypton or Atlantis or one of these other places, but it ain't freaking from Wakanda, maybe. It ain't from here because what he's doing right now is incredible, but the Commanders and the Eagles, that is going to be a race that we need to keep our eyes on. But yeah, man, the NFC, this is going to be a tough one, man. But yeah, the Lions look incredible, and I'm excited to see what happens moving forward.
Yeah, I'm also interested in the NFC West race because it's not just the Cardinals, but even the Rams. They just you kind of
they won't go away,
right? They won't go away. Exactly what I was about to say. You keep kind of expecting the bottom to fall out. Oh, we don't have any first round picks. We spent 10 picks on the day 3 of the draft again and again and again. And you just keep popping up oh, there's another quality player, another quality player, another quality player. We know Sean McVay's a good coach. Matthew Stafford's still doing his thing. So I don't think the Rams could go on and win a Super Bowl. Probably just a little bit too green for that. But they could put someone on upset alert in the first round.
Put someone on upset alert and mess somebody's season up for sure.
Right. Yeah. And I think for where they started, that's not really a bad end. I think sometimes the NFC gets a bit of a bad rap, even for me when I talk about it, but because there's not like the amount of elite players at the top like the AFC does have, but there's still like the middle class of the NFC. There's still a bunch of good teams. Like we just saw the Buccaneers last year. They almost made it to the NFC Championship game.
Yeah.
So hey, all you got to do is get in, and anything can happen. I think that's
get
true
in,
for a lot
and
of
anything can happen. You are absolutely right. Get in, and anything can happen. And last thing on the Detroit Lions, the thing that's most impressive about them is they're doing a lot of this on the road. Went to Minnesota, and they're not just blowing people out. They are showing that they can win close games as well. They went into Minnesota and won. Dallas was not the old Dallas at home. They went in there and decided to create a whole new offense, doing trick plays and hooking ladders to offensive linemen and all this. That's on the road. We just seen them at the Packers. They beat them on the road. They went into Arizona, who leads the AFC West. They beat them on the road. So Detroit, man, they have a home run. They have a homestead where now everybody's going to have to come to Detroit. They already 7-1. Now y'all got to come see us. It's going to get ugly for a lot of people, man, because they play a certain brand of football and they do not deviate from that. They don't. Dan Campbell said, this is who we are. This is what we're going to be, and we're not deviating from it. We're telling you who we are. We're going to show you who we are. Stop it. And that's what I love most about the Detroit Lions. So, hey, good luck in the NFC, man. That's going to be a tough out for anybody. But like you said, man, one wrong day and a team like the Rams or the Arizona Cardinals or somebody like that can slip up and get a win on Detroit at the wrong time in the playoffs. So we'll see. But we're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to come back with our drive to wins. Hey, man, I know we got a lot of good ones. There was a lot of great football being played. We had people jumping over people backwards, people unstoppable on third down. It was a lot of great football this past week. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be back with our Drive to Win segment. See you in a second. We are back, and this is one of our favorite segments, man. Let's get into our Drive to Win presented by Toyota, official automotive partner of the NFL. Chuck, this is our Drive to Win segment. This is where we pick one, two, or three players that we felt like dominated or balled this week. Who do you got, Chuck?
Well, I took the easy answer for my first guy, and I'm going with Lamar Jackson. I mean, another perfect passer rating, shredded.
Nothing about what he did is easy. So you good, man. You can take Lamar Jackson if you want.
I mean, dude, this is a defense that still has guys like, Pat Surtain and Riley Moss been playing well. They've been, they put up some crazy stats on defense. So to just come out and dunk on them and put up 41 on their head like it was nothing. That was ridiculous. That was crazy. And I mean, like you said, he's making just trick shot throws every week. The big completions down the field. He's playing his best football. He's well on track to a third MVP. And I think it's really cool based on where the pre-draft coverage was that this guy could win 3 MVPs before 30, which basically makes you a first ballot lock for the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, for sure. Who else you got?
And, as the Falcons fan that I am, I have to get out of here by giving Bryce Young, Panthers quarterback, a shout out. It's not the gaudiest statistical performance, but it's probably one of the better games of his career. And they came back, beat the Saints, and sent them packing for the season. Dennis Allen got fired. The rest of the team's in turmoil. Anytime you can do that to the Saints, you're a winner for the week for me. So
I got you. Hey, listen, we did a segment on NFL Network where we had to smash a pumpkin that had a team logo on it, where we thought that their season was smashed and it was done for. I picked the Saints, and that was prior to this game. So hey, I'm right on par with you, and I loved it so much. I loved it so much. Yes. All right. So my first one is going to be Justin Jefferson. Jettis, 7 catches for 137 yards. Man, this dude, this guy is incredible, man. And he's been this way. I don't know what's in that water at LSU. They got a whole nother crop of guys coming out that's going to be good this year in the draft, man. They just got whatever's in that water at LSU It's freaking incredible because these wide receivers, year after year after year, these LSU wide receivers are balling. But Jettis, man, he's definitely the guy in the league right now. 7 for 137. Jettis is my first one. And then I did last week. Kirk Cousins was my drive to win because of what he did to my Bucs. Unfortunately, I got to do it again. I got to go with Patrick Mahomes. One, he had the game-winning drive. He was 34-44, 291 yards, 3 touchdowns, no picks. But most impressive to me, 11 completions on third down for 128 yards and 3 touchdowns. That is freaking incredible. That's insane from Patrick Mahomes on third down. But that just goes to show who he is and what he's done. And then my honorable mention is Joe Burrow, man. They was doing their numbers. Joe Burrow, they did their numbers. Let me pull his numbers up. Joe Burrow, 27 of 39, 251, 5 tubs, and 1 pick. Yeah. Joe Burrow is one of those guys who calling him Joe Cool just perfectly fits him. He's never too high, never too low, but he's always consistent, man. And those are my drive to wins. What do you think?
I like it. I've loved what Joe Burrow's done this season because I think there was a while after he got hurt last year and he was dealing with some injuries and started off this year a little slow. He was playing a little apprehensive, a lot of dink and dunk passes, not really taking a lot of shots downfield. And it kind of seems like he's remembered who he is and who he has around him. And I love to see that because when that offense is clicking, when he's clicking, it's a whole lot of fun. So, and my fantasy team likes it too. So
yeah, and I think we lose sight of that this is just who Joe Burrow has been. This is who the Cincinnati Bengals have been. They start slow. You kind of question, is he? And then he just picks it up and loses his mind. And that's what makes him him. That's why, he's going to be one of the best quarterbacks of his generation. And he's been one of the best quarterbacks in the league since he's gotten in the league. They didn't get over the hump. But of all the guys, he got to the Super Bowl the fastest. So, you got to give Joe Cool his respect. But that has been our Drive to Win segment presented by Toyota, official automotive partner of the NFL. I love this segment because I love giving flowers. While these people are here, you never want to wait till a person is gone or no longer playing to give out flowers. So I love this segment the most. But we got some football to play this week. It's a lot of great games. We're going to get into our picks right now. Chuck, this is where we make our picks. You can elaborate a little bit. You don't have to. If you want, fine. If you see the Falcons playing, if you want to talk about the Falcons, you just talked a lot of noise. Falcons is going to the Saints, so we're going to get into that. But you just say who you got. Thursday night, Killer's not here because he's prepping for Thursday night. This is not a pushover game. Killer said when they were getting ready to play Cleveland, that wasn't going to be a pushover game. They went up to Cleveland. Jameis did his thing. And they ended up losing to Cleveland. Well, this is a division opponent. Baltimore Ravens versus Cincinnati Bengals. This is always a great game. The last one was freaking incredible. So I think everybody's looking forward to this one. Who do you got?
I'm going to go with the Ravens. I think they get it done again. This offense, it's too good. It's too good. And last time at home, for Cincy, I should say, while the Ravens were on the road, the Ravens put up 41 points on the road to the Bengals 38. So, even 38 points wasn't enough for the Bengals to get that done. I think another big day for the Ravens offense and a Thursday night win.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Ravens to have back-to-back wins. I'm going with the Ravens at home. All right, Giants at Panthers.
Oof.
This is in Germany. This is a Germany game. Yeah. So, there's no home field advantage. Both teams have to travel. Bryce Young, you just said, didn't have the greatest numbers, but when you got a guy that's as talented as Bryce Young, give him a little confidence coming off a win, you never know what can happen. Daniel Jones, he's up and down. You never know. But I'll say this, Bryce Young, you better look out because that Giants D-line, they are not messing around. They got Sexy Dexy and Brian Burns, Spider-Man. They are not playing, man. Them guys are humming. So, I don't know, man. Who you got?
I got the Giants for that reason alone. I don't, it's hard to, if you start looking at unit versus unit, position group by position group, I don't think there's a better position group in this game at all than the Giants defensive line. So I expect them to mash Big game for Dexter Lawrence. And hey, at least Bryce Young got the dub last week, but this is a little tougher. A little tougher.
Yeah. He's up against it, man. And I think the Panthers gonna struggle with this one. I got the Giants as well. Patriots at the Bears. We got 2 rookie quarterbacks. Drake May, he just started playing a couple weeks ago, but he hasn't not been playing great. He's actually been playing pretty good. I like Drake May. I'm looking forward to the future of what he can do. Caleb, they got a couple wins. It was on the up and up, but the last couple weeks just haven't been up to par. They obviously had a debacle up in Washington. They just went on the road. Caleb played another number 1 overall pick in Kyler Murray. Didn't get the dub. Caleb doesn't have a true road win yet, but they are at home for this one. Who do you got?
This might be spicy, but I'm going to take the Patriots.
Okay.
The vibes in Chicago just seem a little off right now.
They all over the place right now, right?
They're a little all over the place. Bears fans are calling for Matt Eberflus to be fired. DJ Moore is pouting and
walking off the field mid-play is ridiculous, man.
Yeah,
DJ do better, bro. DJ was one of our young boys in Carolina, man. We didn't teach you that. Man, we went through so much turmoil in Carolina. We lost Cam Newton. He got hurt in preseason, week 2. We didn't even know if we was going to have him for the season. His foot was all messed up. We lost Cam Newton in week 2. He got hurt in week 2 of the preseason. Then he got hurt in week 2 of the season, and he didn't play again. All right, we lost him. Our quarterbacks was in and out of the lineup. Chico got fired. Ron Rivera. That was a season full of turmoil. But our defensive line, we ended up being second in the league in sacks that year. So we did CMC that year was his 1,000 season. So DJ, I don't know where you learned this. You didn't learn it from us, man. We learned to push through and keep fighting and keep going. So whatever high horse you on or whatever, man, take it from big bro. You need to tighten up, bro, because it don't look good. Maybe it ain't as bad as we saying, but body language says a lot. And your body language is horrible right now, man. All that pouting and being a diva, I don't know where you got that from. You didn't get it from us. But yeah, with all that being said, I'm going to go with the Bears at home against the Patriots. The Patriots are going to fight hard, but I think the fans get behind them in Soldier Field. And the Bears win this one. 49ers at Buccaneers. Oh, Lord help us all.
It's a tough one. I think I'm going to take the Buccaneers.
Yeah, I'm going with the Bucs.
Shanny with the bye week. That's good, a little tough. But man, dude, I'm a big believer in this Bucs offense because I think Liam Cohen's did a great job. And what I really think is cool is unfortunately you lose Chris Godwin for the season, but they've been able to replace some of that production with Cade Otton pretty quickly in terms of what he's been able to do. So I think that just another week of them trying to figure out what they are on offense now will be good for them. And the 49ers defense is gettable. I think this is going to be a close one. It's got shootout potential, but I'm going to take the Bucs.
Yeah, I'm going with the Bucs too. And depending on what happens today, Nick Bosa might be in shambles. So we'll see. I don't know. Yes, I said that, and don't cut it out. Yes, I said that. Do not cut that out. So I'm going with the Bucs too. Broncos at the Chiefs.
Chiefs.
Yeah, I'm going with the Chiefs too. Bills at the Colts. I think we can agree we both go with the Bills.
Yeah. The Colts. I mean, I don't know what the hell that was this week.
Yeah,
that was just
man.
You benched Anthony Richardson just to do that. What the hell was that?
Yeah, I don't know. Steelers at Commanders. This is going to be a great game. This is going to be a great game, man. I'm excited for this one, but I'm going to go with the Steelers on the road with that defense. Russ, I feel like Russ is going to do enough. Najee Harris is running like he's pissed off at the world. And, Russ he's got a great thing going right now, man. So I'm going to go with Pittsburgh on the road.
I'm riding with Jaden Daniels and the Commanders, man. I've just been so surprised with how good they are in terms of points per drive, number 1 in the league still, even with the year that Baltimore's having. I think they get it done. It's been kind of interesting because I think they still have room to improve, on offense, personnel-wise, moving to the future. For sure. And Jaden Daniels is going to get better, but right now they're playing really good football and one of the best offenses in the league. And I think that carries them to an 8-2 record, which if you would ask me that back in August,
that's freaking insane.
Yeah, I would have laughed at you.
But I'm liking this Russell Wilson George Pickens connection, man. He's finding a way to give him the ball. To Killer's credit, Kyle said that they need to find a way to get George Pickens a ball, and I don't know what these guys' connection was in practice or whatever, but Russ is like force feeding him, and it's working. So I'm excited to see that one. Vikings at Jags. Are we both going Vikings?
Yeah, but I will use this opportunity because I have a question I want to ask you on this trade deadline day. We've seen with teams like mostly the Browns and maybe some other teams like the Panthers today. When you get to the point in the season when you're in the locker room and the team is starting to ship guys off to other teams, if you've been in that situation before, what is it like? Because there's still 9 weeks to go, but clearly the organization is saying, "Nah, we're moving on to next year."
Yeah, well, the organization can do that, man. I was a part of that. The last game in 2014, we tanked to get the number 1 overall pick so we can get Jameis. We knew we wanted Jameis, and we tanked the last game. We wasn't happy as players because we like, shoot, we play to win. Like getting the first or second pick, okay. If you don't get the first, get the second guy, whatever, But so it's tough. But at the same token, 2012. The Indianapolis Colts said, hey, Peyton Manning, first ballot Hall of Famer, generational quarterback, you can go. We appreciate your services. Goodbye. 2019, going into 2020, the New England Patriots, 6 championships. We appreciate you, Tom Brady. You can go. Goodbye. In 2012, I realized that this is a business. And at that point, I stopped looking at it as a game and understood this is business. And the guys who are on the business side, who are the owners and the GM, he's a part of the football, but he's on the business side as well. And the business is to win. And whatever we got to do to make this team win, whether it's now or moving forward, is what we're going to do. So if we can get a jump on this by trading guys away, that's what teams are going to do. In the locker room, man, all you can do is prepare and play with whoever's out there with you. Might be frustrating, but you also looking at the season like, man, this season is dead anyway. We might as well go out here and just give it everything we got. It ain't like we going to playoffs. It ain't like we going to the Super Bowl, but we got pride. So we're going to go out here and play with pride. Hey, if y'all with me, let's go rock. I don't care who's in front of us. If they keep a score, we play to win. And that's how you got to approach it, man. But understand that the higher-ups, they're about business, and that's what they're going to do. With that being said, I got the Vikings.
Yep, same Vikings.
And I have the Falcons at the Saints.
Yeah, the Falcons.
I think we both do. Titans at Chargers. I'm going to go with Chargers.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Chargers. They've played pretty well over the past month. I think they've really started to figure out how to kind of unleash Justin Herbert as a passer within the style of offense that they like to run. So I think they still have a long way to go before I'm talking about them as Super Bowl contenders. But year 1, 5-3, you just had the 5th pick last year.
Yeah.
That's a really good start for where they are.
Yeah, it is. Jets at Cardinals. Whew, this is a tough one because the Jets are playing better. But the Jets have been too inconsistent, man. I can't pick them again. I didn't pick them last week, and I don't care if they won. I'm not. Nah, the Cardinals, they're on the up and up. They have the momentum, so I'm going with the Cardinals.
I think I'm going to go with the Cardinals, too. Although I do think the Jets will give them a better game than the Bears did this Sunday.
Eagles at the Cowboys. I mean, this was kind of obvious. I'm going with the Eagles. And we got Lions at Texans. I'm going with the Lions, man. They taking over everybody's trap. So I'm going with the Lions. The Texans are banged up. They don't look like the same Texans, and the Lions are riding high right now. I'm going with the Lions.
Yep, I'm going with the Lions. Texans, just like you said, they're too banged up, which is unfortunate because I feel like when you start looking at these games, a lot of them feel like a lot of, especially today with Dak going on IR, that Cowboys game lost a lot of juice. Flacco's in with the Colts. That game lost some juice. So hopefully CJ Stroud can step up and give us something because this week's a little shaky.
Yeah. And then finally, Monday night, Dolphins at Rams. This is going to be a good game, but I'm going with the Rams, man.
I'm going with the Dolphins. They've looked like their old selves since Tua got back, and I just think one of these games they're going to get the combination of good offense, good defense that they've been missing. The Rams are tough out, but I think they're moving back in the right direction towards getting back to the team they want to look like, even if it's a little bit too late as far as the standings go. So I'm going to go with the Dolphins.
Yeah, this is gonna be a match of wits offensively. So I'm excited to see it. Well, so those are our picks for week 10. We have come to the end of the show again. I want to thank my man from the 301 podcast, Mr. Charles McDonald. I am McCoy. He is McDonald. So it only makes sense that he came and joined the show. I appreciate having you on the show, man. It's been a pleasure of mine having you here. Killer is preparing to go get a big win on Thursday night. But you being here, man, the show was incredible. I enjoy having this conversation with you. I hate that you're a Falcons guy. Definitely hate that you're a Falcons guy. But it's been a pleasure to have you, man. Did you enjoy yourself?
I did enjoy myself. I had a great time. Glad to be here, and gotta say, wasn't too fond of you all those years sometimes.
Yeah. I appreciate it, man. Hey, we want to hear from you. We definitely want to hear from you. I know Killer made you guys a promise that we would answer fan questions, but he has Thursday night football, and he had to go prepare. But when Killer's back, we will answer these fan questions. We guarantee it. Killer guaranteed it. So his guarantee, his word is bond, and it means something. But please send your questions in. McCoy and Van Noy at Yahoo Sports. We want to hear from you. Video chats and voice messages, jump the line. But we want to hear your feedback. We want to hear whether you like it, you hate the show. Is there something we could do better? I know Gerald's location. I've been all over the place. Hey, but I got a family and I got a lot of responsibility. So I travel, man. I got stuff I got to do, but I'm here every week. But we do want to hear from you. Please send in your questions. Thanks to Brett, John, and Addie for everything that you guys do behind the scenes to make this show as incredible as it is. We love you guys. Like, subscribe, share, all of that jazz. Tell your mama, tell your grandma, all of that, man. Especially with Thanksgiving coming up. You sitting around Thanksgiving, just tell everybody, hey, McCoy Van Noy, y'all need to check it out. So we love you guys. We'll see y'all next week. Another big shout out to my guy from the 301 podcast on Yahoo Sports, Mr. Charles McDonald. This has been McCoy and Van Noy. We are out. Peace.